Hi guys, Andy here. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones futures for Tuesday, November 14th. For the record, time is around 11 a.m. GMT. So here we are looking at the daily chart. Let's do a quick recap. So expectation was, or the primary scenario is saying that we finished a wave one right here, wave one to the upside. So we're coming from this low here, and so wave one here to the upside. And so now primary scenario would be that we are working here on this wave 2, and this wave 2 area is indicated right here. We can find it by taking the length of our wave 1, and so then the area between the 0.5 and the 0.854 FIB retracement is our wave 2 area. If we go back to the daily, then from this low, I believe the obvious interpretation of this structure would be 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so if we have 5 waves down, then we know that 5 waves should be followed by another 5 waves. So an impulse should be followed by another impulse. So then the interpretation of the structure could be that we are working on a wave 2 here as an A, B, C. And so so far we had the wave A in 5 down. And then now we are working on the wave B. We are in the wave B area. The wave B area is the area that we can find by taking the length of our wave A. And then we know that the wave B should go into the area between the 0.5 and the 0.854 FIB retracement. We are currently in this area. And then a wave C, another impulse, should follow, going into this area, taking out the wave A low, and then we actually have our corrective structure as an A, B, C. Now, as you can see, we came quite close to the wave 2 area right here, and therefore in my previous higher time frame analysis, I introduced here a triple tree correction. So the reason was that, like I said, we came quite close to the wave 2 area right here. And secondly, this low is also quite important for the S&P 500. So in the S&P 500, this low means the wave 4 low. And if we take out this low in the S&P, it means that it cannot be a wave 4 anymore in the S&P 500. And if it is not a wave 4 anymore, then this opens the door to quite some bearish scenarios. Bearish scenarios if we take out this low in the S&P 500. So therefore, this low is quite important across the different markets. And at the same time, this low here in the NASDAQ was also an important resistance area actually in the higher time frame. And so what you see is that we had a very strong reaction from this area. So therefore, I think it's also worthwhile considering that we are having a low here, for instance. And with a low, I mean the wave 2 low. And if we need to have a wave 2 low right here, then then I believe we have to classify this as a triple tree correction, as a WXYXZ pattern, as you can see here in red. So looking solely at the Dow Jones, I would say the obvious count would be to have an A, B, C pattern. But because this low is quite crucial among the different markets, I think it's also worthwhile considering that we have a low right here, the wave 2 low in the Dow Jones, which then means that we had a triple tree correction, WXYXZ. So okay, now let's have a look at the lower time frame. How can we interpret this structure right here, this move up? So starting from the higher time frame, This can be a wave B up. That's one possibility. So a corrective move up right here. And secondly, if this is our wave 2 low, then this should be the start of a wave 3. And so the interpretation is, or the interpretation could be that this is a wave 1 up. That's also a possibility. Now, if we look at the lower time frame in the 4 hour, we cannot really see much compared to the daily, but I believe we can have a look here at the 1 hour. And so actually for a while we were like waiting for an impulse here to finish. Like, where would the impulse be finished? And now I see two possibilities. So before, I also had a scenario where we made an A, B, C correction right here as a wave B, but I took it out of the chart because that's not longer possible, in my opinion. We took out the high right here. So if I have to consider this as a three-wave correction, I would expect the end to be right here. And as you can see now, we already took out this high. So I don't think the wave B is finished. If we have a wave B up, I don't think the wave B is finished. So how can we interpret it now? So actually, I think this here is a good candidate to be the end of an impulse. Actually, if we look at the 15-minute and the 1 hour, then we would have something like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this is the end of a structure. And of course, we know that if we have an impulse here, then an impulse should be followed by another impulse. And so then what we actually want to do is to buy the pullback. So if you have an impulse here, the primary expectation is that we come back into this area here between the 0.5 and the 0.854 FIB retracement. And then this is where you buy for more upside, for another impulse up, for at least one more impulse up. But I think the pullback here, the pullback that we should have after this impulse was actually very shallow. I think this here was our wave B or wave 2, depending on how you look at it, depending if you see this as a wave B or as the start of a wave 3. I think this here was the pullback, a very shallow one, because it's also something, if you saw my DAX analysis and my S&P 500 analysis, it looks like across the markets that from here we started new cycles up from this area. And so actually this is also something that could happen in the Dow Jones. It looks like we started a new cycle from here, and if we need to have a new cycle from here after an impulse, so impulse, correction, and then we should get another impulse. That would actually be my best interpretation of the market. That here we have some kind of low for now, be it a wave B, be it a wave 2, so wave 1, 2, and now working on the 3, or A, B, and now working on the C, as indicated here in green. Then my secondary scenario would say that this here was our wave 3 high, this the 4, and so now, like, the 5th really has to end right now, in my opinion. I already favor actually the A, B, C with this here as pullback, or the 1, 2, 3 with this here as pullback, than the scenario in red. However, if the scenario in red is playing out, then the pullback that we get right here might be a nice buying opportunity. So if we get the scenario in red, then this here is the top of our impulse, more or less. Maybe we see a bit more upside. And then the area here between the 0.5, I can put it on the chart. The area here between the 0.5 and the 0.854 FIP retracement is the area where we should go as a wave B, or as a wave 2. So then this could be a nice buying area, but I'm afraid that this here was the pullback, and that we can start a new impulse from the low right here. Well, actually, I mean, if we take out the low right here today or tomorrow, then of course my scenario here in green is invalidated, and then we have to switch to the secondary scenario, the scenario in red. Okay, that's my analysis for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment to support my work. And I see you one of the next days for another video on the Dow Jones. Have a nice day. Bye bye.